Hello everyone, welcome to Huawei Cloud South Africa Demo Center. Today, I will show you some of the best practices on IAM user, object storage service bucket policies, and enterprise management. Just thinking of a scenario where we can create a limited role for the network operation team, and how can we leverage it from Huawei Cloud. Let's start with Identity and Access Management, IAM. Please click on your Huawei Cloud account name on the right hand corner of the console to find the IAM menu. Let's create a group. Name it as JHB Network Engineering Team. Assign role to this group. This role must be limited to South Africa region and with limited access to network cloud resources like VPC, ELB, etc. Now, let's create a user who works as a network engineer. Assign a username, contact information, and set up password for initial login. Add user into the group that we just created and then finish. Now let's log in using this IAM user. Here we must choose IAM login option. Input Huawei Cloud account name, IAM username, and IAM initial password. Now it will prompt to reset the password. Please do it and authenticate using SMS verification code. Now IAM user is logged in. navigate to South Africa region. Go to VPC service, try to delete previously defined VPC and subnets. Let's create a new VPC with subnet. We have created it successfully. Now let's go to ELB and let's fill the mandatory details. Now we have created ELB instance successfully. Now let's go to the computing console. First of all, we will try to delete an instance. And we see that we do not have permission to perform this operation. Creating a computing instance is also blocked. Now let's try another scenario. Suppose we have a third-party O&M company which helps us to operate our cloud services on Huawei Cloud. And for this requirement, we need to use agency feature to let O&M company log in instead of us. First of all, let's create a new agency in IAM menu. Specify agency name, type which cloud service account you want to assign to, that is the delegated account. Specify validity duration and assign limited roles to this delegated account. For example, we will allow them to access VPC only. Now let's log in into the delegated account. Earlier we have registered this Huawei Cloud account. After login, click account name and choose switch role. You will input your account name and delegate agency name, and this must be same as you defined before. Create a customized policy under delegated account. Input policy name. Within JSON blank, we define this policy manually. Change demo URL with real delegation ID. Create a group and IAM user under this delegated account. Pay attention that we assign roles to this group. We must select customized policy that we just created. Create a user belonging to this group. Now, let's log in using this IAM user. Now, let's navigate to switch role menu. Input delegated account and agency name. Make sure it's same as predefined name. Try to do network operations and management using this delegated IAM user. For example, try out with VPC and subnet creation, deletion, or changing configuration. Okay, now let's see another security feature. We call it Huawei Cloud Enterprise Management. You can see this as a typical hierarchy LOB of your company. Now, we have the following requirements on organization management on Huawei Cloud. Requirement 1. Your company can purchase multiple types of resources in South Africa region for 2 project teams. Resources of the 2 project teams need to be isolated from each other. Requirement 2. Each member of the project teams can access only the resources of the project team to which the member belongs and only has the permission required to complete tasks. Requirement 3. Each project team makes payments only for the resources used by its members and the project expenditure are clear. Enterprise management. You can create enterprise projects to group and manage resources across regions. Resources in enterprise project are logically isolated from each other. Each enterprise project can contain resources of multiple regions. IAM. IAM projects group and physical isolate resource in a region, and each IAM project can only contain resources in the same region. In conclusion, enterprise management provides more flexible cross-region resource isolation between projects than IAM. Therefore, it is recommended that your company use enterprise management to manage project resources. The solution to the following requirements are proposed using the Enterprise Management Service. For details about the two services, see what are the differences between IAM and Enterprise Management later. Solution to the requirement 2. In IAM, your company creates IAM users for employees and add IAM users to different groups. In Enterprise Management, your company adds user groups to the enterprise projects created to address requirement 1 and assigns required resources access permissions to each user group. Now let's go to the menu Enterprise Project Management. Create a new enterprise project for different organizations. Create groups for finance team, security team, development team, and operations and management team for the two organizations. Create users accordingly to the groups they belong. Now we have all the users ready. Let's go back to project management. Within project A, click More and view user group and assign roles to different groups. For example, finance team have billing roles. Dev team can operate some of the cloud services. Security team can access network and security service only. Operation and management team have read-only privileges. Now let's log out and try to log in using IAM user accordingly. Let's try development user in project A. Here, this user need to create computing instance within project A. So here we create two instances which belong to different project. Let's log in using a finance team IAM user. If we query global region billing system, there will be a block. Also, log into another project, it will prompt error as well. Let's try with O&M user. For example, he or she wants to escalate role, but fail. He can only query the cloud resources. Now let's play another game on OBS bucket policy. Here we are showing you the first scenario. An enterprise has a large number of files to archive but it does not want to put efforts on the storage resources. Therefore, this enterprise subscribes to OBS for storing the files and expects the staff in different departments to have different level of access. By doing so, data access permissions to the staff in different departments are isolated. The enterprise expects the administrators to have full access to the department's public data stored on OBS, and the common user can only read the data. To achieve this, we can follow this procedure. Now, let's navigate to IAM and create OBS admin user that belongs to admin group. Create a group for OBS tenants with permission tenant guest. Now, let's create new users in the group that we just created. Let's log in as OBS tenant IAM user and go to OBS service. Let's try creating a bucket. Finally, you can see that you cannot create a new bucket with limited permissions. Now let's log in using OBS admin user and try creating a bucket. Here you can create and delete buckets successfully. Now let's see another use case. An enterprise has a data that needs to be shared among different departments or projects. To reduce the risk of accidental deletion or tampering of shared data, the data can only be downloaded but not modified or deleted by users of the other departments. In this scenario, Department A shares the data in the bucket, example bucket, to Department B, allowing users of Department B to download the data. This case describes how to leverage the least privilege principle to control access permissions for the shared data. Now you can see we already have user 1 and user 2 who belong to different groups, Department 1 and Department 2 respectively. Let's log in using IAM user 1. Try to create an OBS bucket using user 1. Upload is successful, and let's create a bucket policy. Now, let's log in as another IAM user. Try to test the operations on OBS bucket. Also, the upload is successful. IAM user 2 test download is fine. Test delete file has failed. Test upload file returned with a permission denied message. Now, let's test the last scenario. A company usually consists of multiple business departments, and each department requires independent data management. In this scenario, you can allocate IAM users of different roles to each department and configure bucket policies to authorize the IAM users with independent resource permissions. Assume that a company has two business departments, A and B. Each department needs a separate bucket to store data, and users of each department have permission to upload data to their own department's bucket. Now, let's create a bucket and define bucket policy. It's important to understand how to define bucket policy and object policy. Now let's log in using user 1 to perform the test. User 1 can perform everything on the bucket, so it does not cater the requirement. We have to create a deny policy. Create a similar policy to user 2. Have an overview of the policy definition. Let's test using user 2. User 2 can upload the files. However, user 2 cannot download. User 2 cannot do anything on users 1 bucket. Now let's recap. Huawei Cloud offers you with different identity and access management policies and capabilities. You can define them according to your different requirements, like using cross-region resource management, organization management, or you can also leverage enterprise management. For OBS, you can define flexible bucket policies using GUI or using JSON format to achieve security and identity capabilities. For other features and introductions, please look out for more demo videos. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Cheers!